Have you ever looked up into the night sky? Have you ever felt a sense of profound wonder at the sheer number of stars scattered across the darkness? Each one is a sun, much like our own, and around many of them, we now know, planets are circling. For millennia, we have asked a simple yet monumental question. Are we alone? Is our own vibrant living world a unique jewel, a solitary miracle in the vast emptiness of space? Or could it be that somewhere out there, hidden in the faint twinkle of a distant star, another world like ours exists? What if we were to find it? What if one day we received an answer to that age-old question, an answer that would change everything we thought we knew about our place in the cosmos? The moment arrived not with a thunderous announcement, but with a quiet signal. It was a whisper from across an ocean of space, captured by an observatory nestled high in a remote mountain range. For years, scientists had been monitoring a star, a calm, yellow sun not unlike our own, located in a nearby spiral arm of our galaxy. They had already identified a planet in its orbit, a world of the right size and at the right distance to potentially hold liquid water. They had named it, with scientific reserve, Kepler 186f, but a name is just a label. The real story was hidden in the light that traveled from that distant system, a journey that took decades to complete. It was a team of astrophysicists, working late into the night, who first saw it. They were using a technique called spectroscopy, which split starlight into its constituent colors like a rainbow. What they found instead made them pause, their hearts beating a little faster. They checked their data, ran the diagnostics again, and then a third time. The signal was faint, but it was unmistakable. It was the distinct signature of oxygen, and in quantities that were simply too high to be explained by geology alone. The detection of oxygen was just the beginning. It was the clue that prompted a global effort, focusing the world's most powerful instruments on that one single point of light. As we looked more closely, the evidence began to build, piece by piece, painting a picture that was both alien and astonishingly familiar. The next great breakthrough came from analyzing the planet's reflected light. Over time, as the planet orbited its star, different parts of its surface would face us. By measuring the tiny fluctuations in color, we could begin to map its surface. We saw the deep, unmistakable blue of vast oceans covering much of the planet. We saw the brilliant white of polar ice caps, waxing and waning with the seasons. And then we saw something that made the world hold its collective breath. We detected patches of green, not the dull green of copper oxides, but a specific spectral signature known as the red edge, a characteristic of chlorophyll, the pigment that plants on Earth use to harvest sunlight. This was the breath of a living world made visible. It was the sign of forests, of jungles, of widespread vegetation. The planet was photosynthesizing, it was breathing. We could even detect the presence of water vapor in its atmosphere and methane, another gas that, on Earth, is strongly linked to biological processes. The combination of oxygen, methane, and chlorophyll was a scientific smoking gun. The odds of all these things existing in a stable balance on a planet without life were infinitesimally small. We were no longer looking at a candidate for life. We were looking at a living planet. The scientists who presented these findings did so with a mixture of exhilaration and solemnity. They showed the world computer-generated images based on the data, a beautiful blue marble, swirled with white clouds, and adorned with continents of deep, vibrant green. Though we could not see it up close, the data allowed us to paint a vivid portrait of this new world, this distant Eden. We called it Ethelgard, an old name meaning noble home. The name felt right. Its day was a little longer than ours, about 28 hours. Its year was shorter, as it orbited its slightly cooler, redder sun more quickly. This would mean longer, more languid days and faster seasons. We could imagine the weather systems that would sweep across its continents. With vast oceans and a lively atmosphere, there would be rain, storms, and perhaps even hurricanes of a scale we could only guess at. The light from its redder sun would cast a warm, golden hour glow over the landscapes, making the greens of its forests seem deeper and the blues of its oceans richer. What of the creatures that might inhabit such a world? Here, science gave way to informed imagination. On a planet with slightly higher gravity than Earth, life might be stockier, with stronger bones and muscles. Perhaps the creatures of Ethelgard would be built lower to the ground. In the sprawling forests we had detected, we could picture herds of six-legged grazers, their extra limbs providing greater stability as they moved through dense undergrowth. In the air, with a thicker atmosphere, flight might be easier. Perhaps the skies were filled with creatures far larger than any bird on Earth, gliding on immense wings through the golden light, their calls echoing across valleys. The oceans, vast and deep, held the greatest mystery and the greatest promise. Life on Earth began in the water, and it is there that it is at its most diverse and strange. We could imagine reefs built not of coral, but of some silicon-based life form, glowing with their own bioluminescence in the eternal twilight of the deep. Perhaps great leviathan-like swimmers, larger than our blue whales, navigated the ocean currents, their songs traveling for thousands of miles through the water. The possibilities were endless, a complete, separate tree of life with its own history, its own successes, and its own failures, all playing out on a world we could see but not yet touch. And what of the sounds and smells? We could only dream. The scent of rain on alien soil, the perfume of a flower that evolved to attract a creature we have never seen, the chorus of a forest at dusk. These sensory details were forever beyond our reach, and yet we could not help but try to imagine them. This act of imagination was a profoundly human one. Ethelgard became more than a data point. It became a place in our collective consciousness. The news of a living world, a second Earth, did not cause panic or fear. Instead, it released a wave of wonder that washed over the entire globe. For the first time in generations, every human being was looking up at the sky with the same thought. We were not alone. The discovery transcended politics, borders, and ideologies. News channels in every language ran specials, their graphics showing the long journey of light from Ethelgard to us. School children drew pictures of alien animals, and poets wrote odes to the twin world. On a clear night, amateur astronomers and families would go outside, find the constellation that held the precious star, and simply stare in silent contemplation. The feeling was one of profound connection. The discovery of another living world somehow made our own feel more precious. People looked at the forests, oceans, and animals of Earth with new eyes, seeing them not just as resources, but as manifestations of a universal miracle. The environmental movement was revitalized overnight. If life could arise twice, then the life on our own planet was not just a local treasure, but a cosmic one. The responsibility to protect it felt heavier, more urgent. Of course, there were endless questions. The world's religions and philosophies grappled with the new reality. What did it mean for our creation stories? How did this second Genesis fit into our understanding of the divine? Most saw it not as a contradiction, but as an expansion of their faith, a sign of a universe far more creative and abundant than they had ever imagined. The discovery did not erase belief. For many, it deepened it. There was also a powerful, shared dream that took hold of the public imagination, the dream of going there. The idea was fantastical, impossible with our current technology, but it was also irresistible. We were a species of explorers, driven by an innate need to see what lies over the next hill. Now the next hill was 40 light-years away. The discovery of Ethelgard forced us to ask ourselves some very big questions. The most immediate and tantalizing of these was, could we go? Could we ever hope to cross the immense gulf of space to set foot on that world? The desire was instinctual, a deep-seated pull towards this newfound sibling planet. We dreamed of walking through its golden-lit forests, of seeing its strange creatures with our own eyes, of feeling its alien rain on our skin. The romance of the idea was, honestly, intoxicating. It would be the ultimate voyage of discovery, the greatest adventure in human history, a journey to answer the question of what life looks like when it starts all over again. But why would we want to go? The reasons were as numerous as the people who dreamed of it. For scientists, it was a biological treasure trove, a chance to study a completely separate evolutionary path. Is DNA the only way to store genetic information? Does all life require water? Ethelgard held the answers. For artists and philosophers, it was a source of inspiration, a new perspective on existence. For humanity as a whole, it was a potential second chance. Our own planet bears the scars of our presence. Perhaps by studying a pristine world, we could learn how to better care for our own. The questions reach beyond the practical. What would we find there? We had detected the building blocks of a complex ecosystem, but the details were a complete mystery. Would we find intelligence? Our radio scans had revealed nothing, suggesting no technological civilization. But intelligence comes in many forms. Dolphins and octopuses are intelligent, but they do not build radio telescopes. This led to the most profound question of all: should we go? What right did we have to intrude upon this pristine world? We have a troubled history of exploration on our own planet, a history often marked by contamination, exploitation, and destruction. If we were to travel to Ethelgard, we would carry with us the risk of contaminating its biosphere with earthly microbes, potentially causing an extinction event on a planetary scale. The dream of visiting Ethelgard was inspiring, but the reality of the journey was, well, sobering. The planet is over 40 light-years away. This means that light itself, the fastest thing in the universe, takes 4 decades to make the trip. To put that into perspective, our fastest spacecraft would take tens of thousands of years to cover that distance. The scale of the challenge was almost beyond comprehension. It was not like building a taller skyscraper or a faster airplane. It required a complete leap in our understanding of physics, a fundamental breakthrough in how we travel through space. Engineers and physicists around the world began to explore the possibilities, dusting off theoretical concepts and pushing them into the realm of the plausible. There were ideas of enormous solar sails unfurled in space to be pushed by the light of our sun, slowly but steadily accelerating a craft to a fraction of the speed of light. Others proposed fusion rockets, harnessing the power of a miniature star to propel a ship across the void. The most audacious concepts involved warping space-time itself, creating a bubble that could contract space in front of it and expand it behind, allowing for faster-than-light travel without breaking the known laws of physics. Even if we could solve the problem of speed, the challenges of such a long journey were immense. We would need to build a generation ship, a self-sustaining ark designed to support a human crew for centuries. Ultimately, the most likely first visitors to Ethelgard would not be human. They would be robotic probes. We could design and launch a fleet of small, intelligent probes, powered by advanced propulsion systems. They could make the journey in a much shorter time, perhaps a century or two. They would be our eyes and ears, capable of entering orbit, deploying landers, and sending back high-resolution images, sounds, and chemical analyses. The discovery of Ethelgard, a living, breathing world so far away, ultimately turned our gaze back towards ourselves. In the end, the most profound revelations were not about alien life, but about human life. Finding a second Earth held up a mirror to our own planet and our own species, forcing us to see ourselves in a new light. For the first time, we had an external point of reference. Our world was no longer the default, the only example of a successful biosphere. It was one of two. This simple fact changed our perspective in a fundamental way, forcing us to confront who we are and what we want to become. Seeing the pristine, untouched wilderness of Ethelgard through our telescopes highlighted the fragility and preciousness of our own ecosystems. The comparison was not a source of guilt, but a powerful motivator for change. Ethelgard showed us what a world without industrial impact looks like. The shared experience of the discovery also revealed our incredible capacity for unity. In a world so often fractured by conflict and division, the news of Ethelgard brought us together. For a time, our shared identity as Earthlings became more important than our national or cultural differences. We were all inhabitants of the other living planet, partners in this cosmic story. Perhaps the most important lesson was one of humility. For our entire history, we have placed ourselves at the center of the universe. Even after we learned the Earth orbited the Sun, we still clung to the idea that life itself was our unique gift. The discovery of Ethelgard gently removed us from that pedestal. It suggested that we are not a miracle, but a natural outcome of a life-friendly universe. We are one expression of life's boundless creativity, a single branch on a cosmic tree of life that may have millions of branches. And so, we continue to watch. We continue to listen. Ethelgard hangs in our sky, a faint point of light that is now a beacon of hope and a wellspring of infinite questions. It is a constant reminder that the universe is far stranger, more beautiful, and more full of creative potential than we ever dared to imagine. The search for another Earth, once a fringe scientific endeavor, has now become a central part of our human story. It has filled us with a renewed sense of purpose and a boundless curiosity to learn more about the cosmos and our relationship to it. The journey to understand Aethelgard and worlds like it has only just begun. The discovery has reshaped our dreams for the future. We now look at our children and wonder if they will be the ones to see the first clear images from a probe, or if their children will be the ones to design the ships that could one day make the journey. The quest has become an intergenerational one, a cathedral of science that we are building stone by stone for those who will come after us. It is a legacy of curiosity, a testament to our unyielding desire to reach out, to explore, and to understand. The true significance of finding a second Earth is not just in the destination itself, it is in the quest. It is in the science it inspires, the art it provokes, and the unity it fosters. It pushes the boundaries of our knowledge and forces us to be better, more creative, more cooperative, and more careful stewards of our own planetary home. The search for life beyond Earth is, in the end, a search for ourselves. It is an exploration of what it means to be alive and aware in a universe that is just beginning to reveal its secrets to us. And with every new discovery, we feel a little less small, a little less alone. The night sky will never look the same. We now see it not as an empty void dotted with lonely stars, but as a garden, rich with the potential for life. We do not know if we will ever reach Aethelgard, or if we will find other, even stranger worlds in the years to come. But one thing is certain. We will never stop looking. The universe is a vast and mysterious place, and its greatest wonders may still be waiting to be found. And as long as there is a star in the sky, there is a reason to look up and wonder, filled with the hope of what we might find on that endless star-strewn horizon.